September 24th, 2016, Saturday of the 25th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes. Rejoice, O young man, while you are young, and let your heart be glad in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, the vision of your eyes. Yet understand that as regards all this, God will bring you to judgment. Ward off grief from your heart and put away trouble from your presence, though the dawn of youth is fleeting. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years approach of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before the sun is darkened and the light and the moon and the stars, while the clouds return after the rain, when the guardians of the house tremble and the strong men are bent, and the grinders are idle because they are few, and they who look through the windows grow blind, when the doors to the street are shut, and the sound of the mill is low, when one waits for the chirp of a bird, but all the daughters of song are suppressed, and one fears heights and perils in the street, when the almond tree blooms and the locust grows sluggish, and the caperberry is without effect, because man goes to his lasting home, and mourners go about the streets. Before the silver cord is snapped, and the golden bowl is broken, and the pitcher is shattered at the spring, and the broken pulley falls into the well, and the dust returns to the earth as it once was, and the life breath returns to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says Koheleth, all things are vanity. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, in every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. You turn man back to dust, saying, return, O children of men. For 1,000 years in your sight are as yesterday, now that it is past, or as a watch of the night. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. You make an end of them in their sleep. The next morning they are like the changing grass, which at dawn springs up anew, but by evening wilts and fades. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain wisdom of heart. Return, O Lord, how long? Have pity on your servants. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. Fill us at daybreak with your kindness, that we may shout for joy and gladness all our days. And may the gracious care of the Lord our God be ours. Prosper the work of our hands for us. Prosper the work of our hands. In every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While they were all amazed at his every deed, Jesus said to his disciples, pay attention to what I am telling you. The Son of Man is to be handed over to men. But they did not understand this saying. Its meaning was hidden from them, so that they should not understand it. And they were afraid to ask him about this saying. The Gospel of the Lord.
September 24th, Saturday of the 25th week in Ordinary Time. The first reading is from Ecclesiastes 11:9 to 12:8. In this passage, Koheleth tells the listener that he should enjoy life while he's young. Now, enjoy life doesn't mean to forget God, to do immoral actions. Rather, while you're young, live a good life, but make God a part of it. So that way when the evil days come, when difficulties come, and they will come because that's part of life, you'll be able to weather through them because you will be one with God, and furthermore, you'll have a sense of joy in your heart because you've not deprived yourself of the goodness of what God has given. Everything is vanity, but we can choose a lifestyle where it's not totally frustrating, where it's not totally meaningless. We simply live a lifestyle as God intended. God doesn't intend us to be miserable. God intends us to find joy. But joy is not based upon doing selfish actions. Rather, it's based upon making God a part of our life and enjoying life. Sucking the marrow out of the bone of life, as Thoreau says. Living a life where dancing, where food, where enjoyment is part of it. The Gospel is from Luke 9:43b to 45. Jesus reveals to his disciples that the Son of Man is to be handed over. But they don't understand what he's saying. Remember, Jesus uses the term Son of Man and applies it to himself. Now, originally that came from Daniel 7, where the Son of Man was to receive power and authority over the nations. And when Daniel was written, it referred to the people of Israel, that even though the people of Israel were being persecuted in those days, they would triumph, they would conquer the other nations. By the time of Jesus, however, the term Son of Man seems to be applied to an individual, and Jesus applies it to himself. He doesn't use it as the early Old Testament writings used it, simply meaning human being. Rather, he uses it as a particular title to define his ministry. And what is his ministry? Well, he finds the definition for his ministry in the Songs of the Suffering Servant. To be handed over, to be persecuted, to die for the sins of the people, buried, raised from the dead. That's a message that the disciples can't quite understand. And in fact, it's not until the cross that they understand what it means to be a follower of Christ. That's often true in our own faith life. Not until we face the cross that we fully understand what it means to be a Christian. It's easy to be a Christian when the sun is shining and we've just won the lottery and our favorite football team has won the championship. It's more difficult when everything is going wrong and we have to trust in spite of the difficulty of trusting. When we have to really live a life of faith, which means leaping out into the void and trusting that God's hands are there. And may God bless us.